This is your daily market review for Wednesday, December 27th, 2023. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to success.
This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your daily market review for Wednesday, December 27th, 2023. Hopefully you're having a great week. Got a lot to unpack here. Again, coming into the end of the year up, that can be a little bit of a tricky situation. Let's get into it because, again, I think a lot of people are expecting big moves, and I would love to tell you that every day is the start of the big move, but it typically isn't. As we've all seen, like inflection points, depending on the stock, the market, index, whatever you want to call it, all slightly different. So we got to go through all the information, parse it, because again, I've seen a lot of end of years exacerbated moves get pulled one way and then fail and change direction. So again, if you've been around trading, you know this. Again, one of the hardest things about trading is when something seems obvious, it might not happen right when you think it's so. And that's one of the things, the games that the market likes to play. Again, it's to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people. So if it means it's going to be easy, probably not. If you're new to the channel, please check out the Discord room, link in the description below. Again, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'd really appreciate it. Again, I didn't realize like 80% of the people following aren't subscribed. Hit the bell button, get the notifications, do live chats 3 to 4 times a week. Well worth it. Also, Back to Basics education series, all sorts of stuff. Appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. You guys are awesome. Also, go to tradingagent.com. Updating this website as well, coming along. Lots of good stuff, interactive brokers, a lot of articles worth reading, insights, videos, all sorts of fun stuff. And also, too, get your 5.5% from Marcus. Holler. That is well worth it. For some reason, that link is not showing. Well, whatever. Also, follow, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Same on Twitter, posting ideas. Things that we're looking at. A lot of interesting trades out there. A lot of things that are, again, tricky into the end of the year. All right, let's get into it. CME Watch Tool. This is rising. This was at 15%, I think, yesterday, or 16%. It's looking like a March cut. Why? 74%. I mean, that's pretty strong. They must be seeing some real big, a lot of crap out there. Bitcoin, M top, chop top, I don't know. Again, I don't trust this stuff until the Feds pivot because, again, they could flip their mind. Who the hell knows? I mean, I don't think they will flip their mind, but I think, again, what I've seen in the past is they throw the baby out with the bathwater. I say that every time. Oil, we talked about being oversold down here. Huge short interest. Nice little rally. How long? We'll see. Natural gas, this is a name. Again, I mean, I don't think there's much downside. If you want to short the KOLD, that makes sense. It's the long term. But buying natural gas, that's a tough one. All right, let's get into it. The dollar getting sold into the end of the year. Interesting action here. Again, it had the XDIV, a big XDIV, 174 approximately. So if you do that and just kind of add it to here, you'd be somewhere around the 200-day. Interesting to watch. TLT, again, broke out today up into the 100, top end of the range, coming into the trend line. Again, this trend line, as we talked about previously, like trend lines do not bring a ruler to trading. I like kind of this like boxed trend line. I mean, however you want to widen it out. Keep an eye on this area. It's very important up here. VIX, we talked about it compressing under the 20-day and then popping back. Wow. Back down. Keep an eye on it. VIXen, interesting. Again, 20-day. In the VIVIX, this is where it gets really confusing. It's like, man, this thing's holding up pretty dang well. It's not at 79. So we'll keep an eye on it. SPY was just chopping all day. End of the year. Light volume. Except at the close, there was like a little bit of a rally. I mean, it's interesting because if you look at the 10-minute, this is where it gets a little wonky. It's like very clearly someone around this 476 area has just got a lid on it. But they're not aggressively selling. So watch this range up here. Again, this is one of the straightest line, biggest move I've ever seen. Most overbought it's ever been. Usually you at least get pullbacks to the 20-day and some chop. I mean, it's just been holding up really well. QQQ, same kind of thing. I mean, I've closed out some puts. Got stopped out, but looking at tech names, again, same kind of thing. It's chop top, explosive. I don't know how much more upside. IWM, because again, here's where the rubber meets the road. Everybody's anticipating the breakout. With the straight line move, everybody anticipated a breakout. I mean, again, how do you want to draw your levels exactly? I mean, there's definitely resistance up here in the 205 range. How much more does it have to go? Again, we'll see. DIA, same kind of thing. Holding up pretty well. Got to give it credit where credit is due. So far, so good holding up. Gold, one's been all over the place the last couple days. I know a lot of people who are anticipating the breakout. I personally, again, think like Bitcoin, it's going to be hard to break out unless the liquidity flows in, meaning ultimately that the Feds are going to go QE. And now everyone's anticipating it, but the recession potential, and again, I don't think people are talking about the banking issues because that's where I see the biggest issues. Now, again, when will that show up? I don't know. That's the question. I mean, it shows up randomly. It comes out of nowhere. Banks collapse over the weekend. No one seems to care. Again, they release on Fridays, and then they seem to clean up the mess. We'll see what happens up here. Gold, and it's hard to trust this stuff with silver lagging. Another one, you think silver would be up much higher. And this is, again, we expect silver, and again, think about silver should be much higher, like 30 in the miners. You would think they would be much higher, but they're just not. When you zoom out, something's not right down here, up here, up, down, whatever, down, up here. This area, you would think these things would be going bonkers. AG, same thing. You think it's going to be like at $9. No. AEM holding up pretty well. Again, strength where strength is due. You can see it holding up better. But again, like you look at Newmont and you go, what is this doing? It's going to be in like the 60s. It's just way down here, hopping around the 200-day and then PAAS. I mean, this thing has just been destroyed. But it's, again, I like this stuff down here in time. This is the hardest thing is people don't understand chop. Like, I mean, this is almost a year of nothing. Stay away, in my opinion, until they confirm. Again, you don't want to be early. Taiwan Semi, again, at some point, China's going to reunify. I don't know how that helps Taiwan Semi. There's a reason why Buffett was unloading his shares, but people are chasing up. We'll see how it works out. Micron, we talked about their earnings. To me, is an actual joke. But chopping up, holding up, can't fault it. AMD, talked about some of the stuff like going on with like domestic chip production. AMD strong. You can't really, again, but this is the hardest time. Like these light volume times of the year, you get some of these stretches. NVIDIA is not really going anywhere. Microsoft had that deal with Israel, $3.2 billion. Let's see if this is a buy the rumor, sell the news. Adobe, another name. Like again, post earnings, gaps down, stuck under the 20-day. Because this is the thing, you're going to get bifurcated market. You're getting certain things showing strength, certain things showing weakness. Apple today rallied off the lows under the 20-day. It's been oversold. If you took some profits today, I get it. Amazon, it's been a great short. Chopping at the highs. Got stopped out of this one. Didn't make sense. CRM, up at the channel high. Just keep an eye on it. Guggenheim, look at the outside breakout and then fail. Pivot point here. Something looks a little off. Meta, like the short here, but hey, it's holding up. Define your risk. It's interesting when you see the 10-minute. So here, let me pull this up. I don't know my mouse. I think the battery's dying. You know, when the mouse's battery's dying, it kind of gets a little glitchy. You had a ceiling all day, and then look at this volume. You're having decent volume, again, nodes at the close. Historically, they're not incredibly crazy. Again, like here was a nice, like, I think that was earnings if I remember correctly. But no, actually, I don't think that was. That was interesting. Oh, that was OPEX. Keep an eye on this 358 because if you got to stop out, you got to stop out. Just that simple. I like the short up here. Again, if you're looking at what's going on behind the scenes, like I don't think Zuckerberg can sell his shares fast enough up here. Microsoft chopping on the 20-day. Talked about NDAQ liking it up here in the mid 50s, a little higher. I mean, I didn't think the gap would fill after the drop down post earnings, but look where you're at. You know, you're right in that area. Now, again, don't bring a ruler. Keep an eye on it. MicroStrategy, I mean, I'm impressed. People went donkey heavy in this. Crazy candle on the 10-minute. Go look at the close. I mean, wow. Again, I'm always keeping an eye on this stuff. Like, again, I love, because this is where the big boys act. Look at this candle. I think the CEO bought more Bitcoin. Okay. Breakout or high volume trap. Netflix holding around the 490s, hit the 500 level. Roadblocks, been holding up pretty well. It's one of those things long term. Again, I think the company's going to get bought out. Tesla holding up around here, the trend and the breakout. Little gap up today. Again, it's one I wouldn't be shorting because of the high short interest. And I think I forgot the SMH. I apologize. And this is interesting, like up, down, and this one's getting tight up here. Just keep an eye on it. Airbnb, this is a short that's really working out well. We shorted this on the 147 plus area. Costco had their ex-div today, dropped, rallied back. I mean, they had a $15 dividend. So now that's out of the way. Keep it on it because I think that could be short. Starbucks, we talked about like kind of a global growth, like not liquidity, but you know, a retail name, just not acting that good. FedEx, here's another one. Something looks a little sneaky on this. Gaps down on earnings. We talked about everybody and their mom thought this was the easiest trade ever was just to buy this and go long. Okay, we'll see what happens here. Today's candle, not super pretty. Caterpillar getting close enough, getting close to our long-term trend line up here. We'll see. I mean, I'm I'm still waiting. Certain names look better to short, and some names are chopping. Like Nucor, you've got clear defined areas, and you stop out. Letter X, we talked about, do not short buyout targets. Please be careful with this one. Again, I don't know I don't think it gets bought out, but I don't know how much downside there is near term. There goes a loud beep. VALE, this has just been in a huge chop cycle. Big. Again, it's holding up pretty well. It's just you're getting into a lot of trend lines, a lot of stuff. So keep an eye on it. Arrow. We talked about copper being oversold. Now it's chopping up here. You could argue bullish and bearish. Like, you run up big, consolidate. Watch the 16, 17 range. CCJ, another global growth name. Again, everyone loves uranium. We talked about it potentially topping out. Here's a choppy M under the 20-day. Doesn't really look that good. CF, people are talking about some options trade. People are buying some long dated. I think they were doing a spread. It makes sense down here. Again, these names I just don't want anything to do with until they bottom. And when I say bottom, let's throw the baby out the bathwater. Like, get the market to act stupid. Again, because it's like hard to really believe that the market can continue up forever on this sustained path when things are going to get much worse. And again, people don't see it now. And again, that's why the market's really good at confusing people. It's like the Livermore, like his example of like the earthquake in San Francisco. Like, people didn't even think it was like care about until days later. Well, are people really, everybody's assuming soft landing, and I've seen this before. We'll see. Aaron, here you go, holding up pretty well. Again, we talked about it getting back up, maybe up into this 35. Short, again, I like the financials up here, like the FAS, like the FAZ. Watch this trend line. Again, started layering in yesterday. Probably gonna, I'm not in a rush, but we'll keep an eye on it. JP Mo, look, here we go. We said maybe the 170s, that trend line. Morgan Stanley, I like it up here in this blue zone. It's just, who knows? Does it have to get to 96? We'll see. Bank of America, like the short here, makes sense to me. How much higher? Probably not much. Goldman Sachs, again, we talked about it chopping up around here. You got references. And a lot of people are scared to short, but it's like, man, there's usually a pullback before earnings, especially when everyone's anticipating earnings to be weaker. And if you run up into them, dangerous. Carry, same thing, chopping up against a reference zone. XBI, we talked about, please be careful shorting these names until they get a decent pop. You've got a decent pop. We talked about, if you zoom out, this stuff has just been in a choppy, sloppy range. I don't know why this box didn't take it across. So far, bouncing to the top of the range. How much higher? Your guess is as good as mine, honestly. I wouldn't get too excited. I'd watch the mid low 90s, and that's probably your max upside. Near term, let's end it with our favorite solar, natural oil and gas. We talked about waiting for solar shorts. So far, good. You're getting better risk reward. Again, I don't mind the consolidation. I don't mind that, because then it gives you references. And then sometimes, again, if you get the price blowouts, then you can get the shorts, easier shorts. Talking about the 200-day, because now you're over this area. But it's interesting that, the CEO is selling as fast as he can with this stock, which is, I think he bought some and then he sold some, and he's just all over the place. But keep an eye on it. Here's an example for solar. Like, that 200-day should be your ideal, hopefully hit spot, or you're just watching these mid 170s. HYG, this was all over the place today. I saw this down, then up, and then it rallied, and then it got sold. And it's, again, I don't know why anyone and their mom would be buying corporate debt. You got to be high as a freaking kite. Oil, where are you? Oil, USO. Here you go. We've talked about it a million times that there was a huge short interest near term. It get rallied. I don't know how much pressure's off of it. We'll see. Keep an eye on it. Again, I like natural gas, but I don't like it through the UNG. This thing has been a dog. I think you can short KOLD. I don't know if it's coming back up here, but if you can get up 110 plus, that to me is a very easy trade. ExxonMobil, this is what's hard. It's like, can you really trust these names? They're just stuck around here. I know some people are looking at CVE. This is a junior name. They're starting to pull back a little bit. XOP got stopped out at drip, but it makes sense if this is a trap. Watch this area here. Could you get to the 100-day? There's a lot of support resistance at 143. Just do your best to be safe. MPC, these gasoline, oil, see, these gas names are starting to look a little weaker. Valero, same thing. Like, gasoline starts peeling over. Watch out, right? Like, that oil is done too, right? Oxy, talked about Buffett buying as much as he can, but he doesn't care. He's selling covered calls. Not surprised it held our Buffett buy zone, right? The Buffett buy zone. And here's the sell zone. So just keep an eye on it. We'll see. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. EQT, another one you would think would be rallying here. This stuff has just been kind of flatlining. I mean, I don't know what the downside is, but I'd be looking for it when they flush it. And last but not least, Flex LNG. Like this name long term with a solid, juicy dividend. I mean, 878. I mean, do that. That's a solid dividend. 87 cents, 88 cents. They did dollars. I mean, they've done, yeah, they're doing really good. If you do a yearly, you do that math on that, that's almost, let me see if it's $4. I mean, it's less than $4 a share, but do the math on that. That's 8% and change. Not a bad dividend yield at all. All right, if you have any questions, again, use the Calendly link. Hit me up. I appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. If you guys are starting to think about real estate, I'm telling you, please, sub 2 seller financing. Creative financing is the best time to do this because people will be willing to walk away from their houses and they don't want to go to foreclosure. And if you are working with them and you can give them an out to take over their mortgage or do some sort of, alternative financing, and then you actually pay their mortgage, but the title's in your name and everything's basically controlled by you. You help build their credit. They walk away feeling good and they can't do anything. All you have to be worried about is the due on sale clause. But I mean, there's ways to get around that. Again, that's what we do what we do. I appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful afternoon, night. Talk to you soon.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.